Hey YouTube, coming at you today with another review. This one here I'm kind of late on reviewing, but it is definitely a tool that is worthy of a review. What this is a digital infrared thermometer, and basically what it does is it sends a laser and it shoots it, well, anywhere you want to know what the temperature is. Like if you want to test that wall right there, it shoots a little dot. See that little dot right there on the wall? It tells you right there that the wall right there is 67.5 degrees. That's an exterior wall. So you come over here to an interior wall, shoot it up there, and you can see that it's 69.5. So you can tell that that's accurate. It's going to be colder on that exterior wall because it's, you know, touching outside. So that's one way that I used it. I also test like my air ducts to make sure that my heating and air conditioning system is working properly. And I test the vents. You can tell the heat's on right now. It's 78.5 coming out of those vents. It jumped up to 79. And it really just depends on where the laser is touching inside that vent. You know, there could be some hot spots like in an elbow. Sometimes it tends to be hotter in the turn of that elbow in that ducting. And then a few weeks ago when I moved in, I used this infrared thermometer to test the hot water heater and see if the elements were working properly. And you ask, well, how would you do that? Well, I took and shined the light on the outside of the element with this cover removed. I shined the infrared thermometer on the outside of the element and then tested it to see if it was warming up and getting hot, and sure enough it did. And then, you know, I went on about my business and I was in the kitchen and I heard the thermostat kick on, so I knew that it turned on the lower element. So I run in here and checked it and checked the warmth of the element on the bottom there, and I could tell that it was working. So now I'm getting power to both elements, and I did that because I had to replace the elements. The electrode was just completely warmed down and corroded, so I just replaced both of them, and I just wanted to make sure that the thermostats were working properly too, and not just one element was heating up all the water. And so, you know, I made sure that both is actually working. And so while I was in here, I had got a new washer and dryer, and so I had run this little elbow down there at the bottom and used this semi-rigid piping to connect it to the outside vent. Well, you can see all that spray foam is caked up around the edges of around that ducting work. And the reason I did that is because whoever chiseled that block out left kind of a sloppy hole there. And I come in here and I could feel sort of a draft. I was like, man, you know. So I took and I tested the temperature right here on the wall, on the block, and it says 64 degrees. And then I tested it over here, and it was way cooler around the ducting. And then I checked it back here, and I just tested around, and all points leaded to where you could see where there was a gap. So I went and put some that expander foam in there, and it sealed it right up, and I could definitely tell that my little laundry room in here is staying a lot warmer. So that is one advantage right there. Another thing you can use it for is in your kitchen. You can take and test the refrigerator. You can see how cold it is. It says it's 29.5 degrees right in there, and that's probably true because it's kicked on and it's trying to get it cold, and I haven't even set it yet, so it's probably a little too cold in there actually. But it says it's -13, so you know, like I said, I haven't set them. I need to use this and set them, and that's what I was fixing to do. Another thing I used it for was to check the water temperature so you don't scald yourself. I just took and waited for the water to get super hot, and then I shot it on the water and it told you how warm it was. Or you can use just a regular basting type thermometer. This one's just an OXO kitchen thermometer, and you just take and pull this protective cover off there and let the water run, and you just stick the water on there, and I think it's recommended 120 degrees for the water temperature. So that's what I set my hot water heater to. And so those are just a few little things that you can use this infrared thermometer on around the house. And plus, if you have a cat, you can just run this thing around the floor and drive him crazy. One other thing is, if you have a neighbor, this light will shoot a long ways. I have a neighbor that I was toying with the other day, and he's probably a good probably 100 yards away from me, and so I was able to shoot this thing on the side of his house and was just playing around with him. And so this is a really strong tool. I'll show you. I'll shoot this thing in the laundry room in there, and you can see that it shoots a really strong beam in there, and it still picks up. It says it's 61.5 degrees. So that's pretty amazing. We'll shoot this vent up here again. 67. Now, I will say that the closer you are to the target, it's going to be the better, because it can get a more accurate reading. But I think I paid around maybe $20, $30 for this thing. I'm not real sure right off the bat, but I know Harbor Freight don't sell this particular model anymore, the Syntec. They've switched to other brands. But I will say this was a really good investment, and I have used this thing a lot more than I ever thought that I would. And keep in mind, guys, while I was showing you that this is a toy, don't shine it in nobody's eye. You could really hurt somebody's eye if you shine it in their eye. You know, you don't want to do that. But anyways, you guys be safe, and Team Mode Fishing signing out. Talk to you guys later.